Our next speaker is Michael Young Bay.
This $70 million. $70 million. And not counting the past millions of dollars that this city done approved of this state and the county, etc. $70 million. Y'all won't even put $1 million in one neighborhood. $1 million in one neighborhood. Brandon Mayor Johnson, you say that you for the children, etc., you for the youth, you know, you want to have work programs for the youth, etc. Well, $1 million for these work programs, for these children. See, I'm not going to address nobody in the room no more. I'm going to just address you whenever this is city council. Because I gave you a hard drive of what me and my family has experienced as far as the discrimination against me and my child and my wife. You know, that comes from places like the Safer Foundation. That come from All Chicago. That come from Bring Chicago Home. You see, that come for these ministers that y'all have. You know, if you go look on Bring Chicago Home site, you see all them reverends and things like that. They got all these nice churches in these neighborhoods. Nice mega churches. And our people homes. And I don't even want to say our people home, because some people, we got to be honest, they do let their stuff go. They do live up in trash, etc. And willingly of their own will. But what about the face? Like, what about 79th Street? You see what I'm saying? What about the face? What about 71st Street? What about all these different streets with these abandoned buildings, with these empty lots? And then the churches come up and try to buy these lots. That's why I say to the people, come up out of her. Come up out of Rome. That's why I say that, come up out of there. The snake is no good. It don't matter who they put at the head. He ain't running nothing. We got to be honest about this situation. But I'm still going to talk to you. I'm still going to call you out. I'm still going to say the names. And then I'm coming down here fighting about me and my family housing and being discriminated and retaliated against, and I get attacked by Greg Mitchell. Wow. But, you know, and I still been trying to come here, be humble and things like that, and give honors and respect and things like that, but y'all ain't trying to hear that. So now I'm going to go press these charges and I'm going to do this lawsuit. Okay. I'm not finna play with y'all. I told y'all. And I got proof. I got evidence. I got the video of me having to use the hard drive, etc. You know what I'm saying? So I'm Michael Youngbay to the media.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. However, your time has expired. Our next.
Hello, and thank you for taking my public comment. My name is Kirby Callan, and I am an organizer in the 32nd Ward, where I focus on expanding public access to mental health care, housing, and public safety. I'd like to start my comment by addressing the Godzilla in the room, and by that, I of course mean affordable housing. The Finance Committee endorsed the proposal for $1.25 billion for affordable housing over the next 5 years. So much of life as a Chicagoan these days is defined by the transient nature of constantly moving every year or two because you can no longer live in the community you want to place roots. And so we need to build affordable housing. Let's borrow money, let's cut some tape and build more affordable housing units across this city with speed and safety. I also want to address the substitute order to change the future of ShotSpotter to a ward-by-ward basis. We cannot do this. We need to cancel the ShotSpotter contract and discontinue its use citywide. An aldermanic discretion of ShotSpotter would lead to a patchwork across the city of profiling, oppression, and aggression. If we are truly to believe that policing can fight crime, we don't need to be expending their resources on something that leads to 85% of the time to incidents where there's no evidence of a gun crime, 90% of the time with no evidence of a crime at all. ShotSpotter wastes our resources and puts those that are most vulnerable at risk of being profiled and damaged by our police. And I also want to spend time speaking on the migrant funding. This is a crisis across our city, but it is not because of the immigrants, it is because of our lack of allocation of resources. This migrant crisis is a resource crisis, and we need vast resources to protect our new community members. 70 million. Hey, you can fight it as much as you want, but it's true. These are our neighbors. These are now a part of our communities. Immigrants are a basis for our future as a city. Ever since the beginning to now, immigrants are the lifeblood of this city, and we need to support them. Not just in the 70 millimeter, but to address the future of this city. We need investments in affordable housing, public access to mental health care, so that these people are protected and ensure that they can live in Chicago in a community that is vibrant, depending not only on them, but the connections within the community. $70 million is a great way to start, but it's not enough. It's possible for us to not spend enough on migrant funding. It is not possible for us to spend it's not possible for us to spend too much. We're spending too little. Let's expand the money for migrants. They need our support. They're not going anywhere. We are a welcoming city. We're going to stay that way. So let's make sure they are protected. Thank you. That's my public comments. Whoa. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Richard Poiso.
Before our next speaker, just a second, sir. Before our next speaker, I would respectfully ask yet again that those that are participating in democracy allow our speakers to finish their presentation. If you cannot adhere to that expectation, I'm going to ask that our Sergeant at Arms remove you. Give our speakers the respect that they deserve. They're 3 minutes. You may commence, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody here. My name is Richard. Last name is Paso. I'm a store manager at an automotive facility here in Chicago. I'm a native to Chicago. It's near and dear to my heart. The city doesn't feel the same anymore. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that's really hard to process. There's a lot of people here that have watched me on social media. I'm a social media influencer, and I've heard the word getting back to me. Some of the people that work for you have gotten stuff back to me. I'm going to say what I have to say regardless. You can come after me if you want. You can try to slander me if you want. Some of the aldermen can talk behind my back if you want. But there's 31 out of 50 aldermen, December 14th, that turned their back on the public, that said, I will not take their vote on this city continuing to be a sanctuary city. You turned it to yourself to speak for us. You turned it to yourself to speak for the public. We pay you, you work for us. We put you there. How can you stand there and say anything about, we don't want to take their vote? We're going to speak on their behalf, and this is how it's going to be. It shouldn't work that way. Any politician that feels like they deserve that type of control over people, they don't deserve to be politicians. They don't deserve to be in the spot that they're in. Second of all, I'm a veteran. I served 15 months in a war zone for this country where I got hurt. Yes, the VA does take care of me. But every year I'm hearing, let's take away, let's take away, let's take away, let's give back, let's take away, let's give back. But we have immigrants that serve with us, that put their life on the line, that are still fighting for citizenship, that are in the military, that deserve all the respect in the world, and they don't get it. They come back, they're still fighting for citizenship. Some of them don't get it, they get deported. These are people that put their life on the line for this country, for all of you to have the freedom and the jobs that you have, and they don't get the respect to have somebody care for them and help them through the process. But all of you guys out here will vote for people that are complete aliens to this country, that have nothing. Tren de Agua, Venezuela, anything coming from the Honduras, all these people are coming here. They've cleared out these prisons years ago. And they're sending all these people here. They don't want them there. They don't serve them a purpose. They're showing up here in New York, in Chicago, attacking people in the streets. The police are fighting with them in the shelters that you guys are funding. You guys think it's a great idea, but yet your police officers are getting attacked. Your public's getting attacked. You're putting our lives at risk by doing what you're doing, and none of you care about it because the mighty dollar sits on top. And as long as somebody's in your pocket that you're working with, you're okay with doing it. You don't care about the citizens. At some point in time, there's going to be an answering for this. What it is, I don't know. But it doesn't look good. And I don't respect most of the people that are in here because you turned your back on the citizens and you said your voice doesn't matter.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Tawan Sims.
The homeless, what is it, the HMIS, the homeless management information systems. So my number would have been 355061. That would have been issued July 15th, 2021. We financed that endeavor, right? The HMIS, that's financed and budgeted, right? Because this is what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about finance and budget. However, I'm an individual in the room. One individual. Y'all mismanaging this, failing actually. Because once again, July 15th, 2021, it's July, what is it now, what? Anybody, April 17th. I didn't sleep last night worrying about this. I didn't sleep last night imagining, how do you talk to these people to have them understand that, hey, this is difficult to deal with, especially when you're a 43-year-old resident of the city of Chicago versus being somebody who just got here, who being treated just like you should be treated, right? I'm just saying. So yesterday was my son's birthday. If I had housing, we could have spent it pleasantly. I didn't speak to him. His name, Ian Waltoba Sims. I actually have an order of protection. His mom got it. My son is a star pupil and a star athlete in Evanston High School. However, his father support him to the utmost, and yet I'm attacked over this. I'm attacked maybe because of my views and the fact that, to point out that our government, our city government, now that I understand, has basically turned their back on black Chicagoans. Yeah. Y'all are implementing our demise here in the city through financing and budgeting. I sit in the room and actually get the understanding now. And it's disgusting. The hardship that I'm suffering and been suffering, it seems like it's not only unintentional, it seems like it's manufactured. Like I've been pursued for the last 4 years simply for my views or simply for pointing out the fact that I'm not getting nowhere. We talk about, let's repair it. But you finna put 70 million into this mission. 600 million in Illinois alone. 275 million more. This year counted 150 million. My HMIS number is 355061. How did y'all drop the ball for so many years on one individual? Wow. But y'all coming to budget and finance, and y'all coming to budget and finance the demise of black Chicagoans here. That's what y'all budgeting and financing. Y'all whittling us out, and y'all doing it in such a gracious fashion. Y'all representing us as y'all do it. This what y'all doing.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Prey Eastlay.
Good afternoon to the city of Chicago. I am P. Ray of the 37th Ward. Chicago Red is our organization. Because we started this session with a prayer, I want to start my comment with the scripture. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But if any provide not for his own, and specifically for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel." So I want to talk to y'all today about not going to hell. In the 37th Ward, there was a family, the Jones family. Amarie Jones was standing in her family building that they've owned for 40 years doing a TikTok dance with her mother. A bullet came through the window, hit her in the neck. She fell to the ground in front of her mother and bled to death. A month ago, on the Chicago mugshot page, her mother was on that page. Her mother had on her daughter's Rest in Peace t-shirt. She washed it so many times that it was completely faded out. She was completely high, out of her mind, and the charge was possession. Now, the first $51 million that this council gave to the migrants came from the opioid settlement funds. I am here on behalf of the Jones family, on behalf of the 37th Ward, on behalf of Black Chicago, on behalf of the entire city, to ask you all to vote no and put that money back in the opioid settlement fund. We need that money in my neighborhood. We need that on my block. That woman should not be at Cook County Jail because she's grieving over a random act of violence that caused her to lose her child in front of her face, when the city of Chicago has millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to give to people who ain't paid a dime into the tax base. We've been in my building for 52 years. We're about to pay some more taxes. The Jones family has been in their building for 45 years, paying taxes every year on time. So I'm asking y'all to use our tax money for our people. We need it. We got people leaning, we got people rocking, we got overdosing, we got pass out lines. You live on the west side, Mayor Johnson, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We need the money for us. We need opioid treatment on the west side of Chicago. We are the headquarters of the cartel, and everybody in here knows it. They selling more drugs than the law can allow, and y'all giving money back to them because they traffic those people up here, so we paying them going and coming. Absolutely not. We pay too much. It costs too much money to live in this city. Help Wanda Jones. Help every other grieving mother who feels like she has to go get high to get over the loss of her child. This is a woman who lived in that house. She still sleeps in that living room where her daughter passed out and bled to death. So I'm asking y'all to say no, put these people on the back burner, and put the money back in the opioid fund. We need that money. Thank y'all.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comments, Ms. Easley. The next speaker is Mr. Denzel Dillard. The next speaker is Mr. Denzel Dillard.
Yes, how you doing there, Mayor?
Good afternoon.
I come here for a different perspective. I come here to give you praise. I hope to soften the blow here. I think I've been sent here, you know, after being evicted, after all the turmoil that I'm going through. I'm here to say thank you. I think you're doing a great job, you know, despite the disparities that's going on within our communities. You know, shucks, I don't care what mayor was here, it wouldn't be done. But more importantly, I'm here to let you know that I'm a struggling young man. I've always, at your tenure, wanted to work for your administration. You know, my goal is to get hired. I believe in your mission. I believe in the hope of the city. And then I see where your administration is going. I want to be a part of the process. Even if I do not work for your administration or hope to be hired for some job for the city. And one of the reasons that I thank the Lord that I'm here, because a lot of people don't think that I'll be hired. They think that I won't be helped by you. They think that things can't happen, you know, to good people. I believe in you. I believe. And my goal is hopefully to work for your administration or for the city, and hopefully to even soften the blow. Because I see so much here. I almost want to pray for this environment, because I do not let anyone steer me wrong just like you do. You know, no matter with the bickering and the hollering, because I adore and I appreciate this whole administration, this whole body here, even the people, even that's behind me. Okay, kiss it. And just like this, I want to be an asset to the city and to your administration, or to some part working inside the administration. I just want to thank you, and I just want to say this very briefly. Lord, I want to thank you for this moment that you gave us. Lord, I want you to continue to bless our city. Lord, bless the people that surround us, Lord. Give them what they need, Lord. Calm their spirit, Lord. You've been ever so gracious. Lord, I want to thank you for what you're doing, for what you've done, and the thing that's going to be down and bestowed over our life, and this city will be greater with our help and assistance. I thank you in Jesus' name, amen. Love you, Mayor.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Dillard. The next speaker is Ms. Jessica Jackson.
Did you talk to me?
So, Christmas is coming early this year. We're going to check that list when it go up on that wall for voting, and we're going to check it twice. And we're going to find out who's been naughty or nice based on how y'all vote. And we're going to start it off with Maria Haddon. Yeah.
Chicago and some communities so angry? Why is all this kind of anti-immigrant sentiment coming up? And I want to explain to folks, it's because if we cared as much about black people and had over the decades as we do about everyone else, we wouldn't be here. But the money from a 2020.
All right. That would be Maria Haddon. Stepping out there, I see you. Don't get sarcastic because we can get jiggy, right? You set up here for that first 51 million talking about how you feel about black people and how you have to have the same energy for black people, and you ain't never stood on this floor talking about money for black people. You get on this floor and talk about black and brown because you somewhere in the middle with it, right? But I'll tell you this, and I'm telling every other black alderman in here today, you vote for the money for these immigrants today, and we coming for them seats. You can believe that. You're going to stop pimping the black people's plight to get brown people, as y'all call it, money. You're going to give us our press conference up there on the 3rd floor, keep talking to the mayor's boy with the clink clink from his past. That's why he got to do what the mayor say do. Him and a lot of other ones in here with these shady pasts. That's why you got to vote the way that you vote. But all of us ain't got shady passes. Some of us free out here, and we can vote how we want to vote, and we coming for those seats. Now, to align yourself with somebody who's obviously a one-term mayor, if he even makes it that far, you better be worrying about your job. You better be worrying about your longevity, because we're going to vote, and we're going to get you out, because you ain't doing right by us. That's what time it is. And for your law person that's next to you, I'm going to need you to check out that federal charge that I got against those public administrators over there for messing with black people's property. It's federal case number 23CV14590. All right? And on that note, if y'all don't give us our money for the black community, know this, we getting ready to file a federal injunction against City Hall for benign neglect to the south side and west side. You got that? Boom.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Jackson. The next speaker is Ms. Sarah Thomas Lena.
Hello, my name is Sarah Tomas Lemna, and I'm a community organizer with Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago, and I live in the 5th Ward. I'm calling on City Council to approve $70 million in funding to support new arrivals until the end of the year. Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago has been working on mutual aid with new arrivals across the city for over a year now. In addition, we have been part of the Bring Chicago Home campaign and Stop Shot Spotter Coalition, as well as have advocated for long-term solutions like treatment, not trauma. The common thread in what you have heard today is our anger in a broken system that we must reimagine together. It's the system that maintained generational disinvestment in communities of color across Chicago And this is what prevents our city, one of the richest cities in the world, from paying a little bit more into the public safety net system while schools and mental health clinics shut down in our communities. Food prices, rent, and childcare costs rise, and thousands of our neighbors continue to sleep on the streets. The common thread here is systemic racism, and these disinvestments have kept communities of color down for generations. This systemic racism has also blocked any positive action on immigration from Congress for almost 40 years. Immigrants are simply not a priority in the federal system. And so I want to speak today to urge you to vote on Friday for $70 million which will be pulled from city reserves, not from any sort of funding to support individuals impacted by the opioid epidemic. In addition to those $70 million, we also need to start thinking about long-term solutions to fund affordable housing and economic development that will benefit all Chicagoans. So on Friday, this council will have that opportunity, and I urge you to vote yes to borrow $1.25 million over the next 5 years and to make economic security a reality for more of our neighbors. In addition, I would like to urge council to vote against the order that calls for alders to be able to choose whether to remove ShotSpotter technology on a ward-by-ward basis, and also calls for any decisions related to violence prevention funding to be brought to the Public Safety Committee and to a full City Council vote. We reject the intention and the outcomes of this order and support Mayor Brandon Johnson's decision to cancel the contract with ShotSpotter citywide. Chicago has long been a welcoming city, and we are committed to ensuring that it remains that way. We are facing a challenging moment, but it's nothing we haven't faced before. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Thomas Linda. The next speaker is Mr. George Blakemore.
The problem is racism. I guess you can hear me. The problem is racism. This is worse than Communist China. All these people sitting here, they're a member of one party, the Democratic machine. These black ones do not have our interests. They work for the master. These big-headed white men run this system. Man, they run it. And I was looking around and said, well, how many white women do they have here? You know, during suffrage, the white woman didn't like that because she couldn't vote and she was like a subject to a big-headed white man. So looking here, I don't see many white women here. By one or two. So the problem here in Chicago is racism, nepotism, corruption, a one-party system. These big-headed white men run this. This big-headed man doesn't run this. Okay. These black ones, they don't have no power. Who slates them? Corporate America. Who runs corporate America? These big-headed white men. Now, you can be in denial. Now, look at you over there passing right here. Look at that while I'm talking. Young lady, sit down. Sit down. Tell her to sit down. Tell her to sit down. So, wait a minute. You don't like this? I'm going to tell you, I'm educating you, I'm informing you, I'm enlightening you. These big-headed white people that enslaved us brought us here. Now they're giving money to another people. Are they nappy, hair, big nose, thick lip, and a black booty hole like mine? No, they're not. And they're giving millions and millions of dollars to them. Can't you see how arrogant she is? When I told her to be seated, she's going to stand up and go, you work for us.
Mr. Blakemore, please stay in the microphone so we can hear you, sir. Thank you.
Something is mighty wrong here, sir. We're still on the white man's plantation, and I urge black people to be selfish. Are selfish people. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Focus on you. They're giving millions. They're showing you better than they can tell you. They're showing you by they're not giving no money to them, these big-headed white men. We're still on the plantation.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Blakemore. Your time has expired. Your Honor, there are no further speakers for public comments.
Thank you. Thank you very much.